Ladies and gentlemen, another shed update and another catalog update. This time we are going to go through uh, paint, especially Poly S. And if you don't know Poly S paints, they're an acrylic water-based type paint. Poly S, S stands for styrene, and then later on it was referred to as polyscale. Don't know why they went that route, but I do know that. But we got some I want to say sample colors, and one thing about these sheets, and I can't express it, but you can actually feel the paint color on the sheet here, which I like really well because you could actually match up the paint better. You know, if you was looking for a specific color, you could actually see what it looked like under light. Where's the fantasy one? Nah, this one's got like metallics. You might be able to see it kind of, you know, shine. That'd be a good way to, really match up the paint that you're looking for. And it's one of those, everything else is printed on a, card stock, and you're like, does it dry that way? You know, printing and painting is two different things on a sample sheet. But we got some very nice old school. Now I don't have much that says Flocal on. I got a couple like brushes, but I don't have any like paints or anything. And I actually have paints in the shed, but I used to have some older paints, but I threw most of that stuff away when I went strictly acrylic. I didn't know I was going to be actually building the shed and housing everything, and you can't keep everything, which you'd like to, but it's just the way it is. But anyway, we got some you know authentic camouflage colors. We got fantasy colors. Uh, then we got the little short version. Again, I'd say like a braille. You can feel it all the way. I prefer it. You can actually see the color if you're looking for something, which I thought was very, very unique. I do like. I always like the names that people come up with when you buy paint. For example, the Ginny light blue. I'd buy that just for the name. What color did you use? The Ginny. War flesh, orc flesh, ogre flesh. You know, it says ballistic green. I'd call it ballsack green. But anyway, that fantasy colors. Just anyway. So that's a poly scale. That's the only really like paint that I have. But I do have paint here inside the Ark, and I actually have old school poly S paints. And I always like little things, it's from the Poly S Corp. Again, most of the paints, I don't buy them. I actually find all the paints like in kits. I'll buy like a wad, and I go through every kit. I take every foreign object out, and you'll find knives, or hobby knives, blades, paint brushes, paints, putty glue, and other artifacts, a few other things. But I did have a kit that had an old school Poly S, and then I actually bought some later in life, and let's say a newer model of the Poly S, and that one says Poly Scale. So you got new and old, and of course the old one bigger bottle, new one smaller bottle. But I do have a polyscale. Uh, Testers. I used to have some old testers. I finally had to get rid of them, and I tried to keep some. The only enamel paint that I ever use is Testers Gold. I have yet to find any enamel paint that can match that gold. It takes forever to dry, but the shine of it is just, to me, the best. And this is an older one, as you can tell by the 40-cent cap. But anyway, I try to keep a little bit of some things. This stuff never goes bad. Now, testers went into the acrylic range, and they went and packaged them like that, which so you won't open them in stores. You know, you always see paint runs on the paint rack. You know, but anyway, I tried to keep a little old, little new. I got some older ones, but I gotta remember where I put them if I didn't get rid of them a very long time ago. And then I did keep some Model Master. You know, that was your go-to paint, you know, for enamels. But then and I didn't bring any out here. These went up in price, and then Tamiya came out, and they were cheaper. And like so I shifted from Model Master to Tamiya, and basically bought that entire line. And then after that, I basically switched over to acrylic, and then went from Tamiya to Vallejo, Emomid, AK, and all that. But anyway, and last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Humbrol. I do keep a couple little tins. I do like their paint. Their the acrylic line that they had, that was, well, I couldn't thin it enough, and it was just not really. I don't know if it was a batch that they had, but I didn't like it at all. But we got some old school, semi-old school Humbrol tin, and which, if you never can find it, and that's Brown Bess. That's what they use to paint all the alien stuff. Very hard color to find. I'd like to have the color. If not, I'd like to have at least a tin just to have. Yeah, you can get close to mixing it yourself. And then the super enamel. That here is what's it called? Duck egg blue. That's what I paint all my Starships colors, because the Enterprise D is painted in duck egg blue, and I make that's my Federation blue. I think it looks the best, and plus when you put the wallpaper decals on, it just works out well. But anyway, the Humbrol Super Enamel, you know, and Humbrol just enamel, which, hey, but anyway, little stuff like that. I do try to keep a little bit of every, try to keep at least every paint, and then usually when I get done with an empty bottle from like a different line, I will put it in here just to have a, not to have a paint rack, but have a little bit of the little history of, you know, paints and all that. So we got some polyester material, so we'll add that to the art. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I got going on today. We are trying to go through the samples of literature and add a little extra paint to the art. So that's what I got going on today. Stay tuned for next exciting episode.